My next guest says House Majority Leader Eric Cantor's defeat in the Virginia Republican primary is a clear message to the Republican Party. He was one of the 4 Republican members of Congress to have their committee assignments taken away after voting against GOP leadership during key votes in 2012. Kansas Congressman Tim Huelskamp lost his seat on both the House Budget and Agriculture Committee. He joins me now. Congressman, thanks for being here. And I want to get first just a reaction. Do you think that what happened Tuesday night in Virginia was a local or a national reaction?
Well, I think it's probably a lot of both. Mr. Bratt is a great candidate. I think he'll make a great congressman. But what was seen in Virginia, I'm hearing all across the country just this concern, this discontent, this belief and disillusionment that the Republican establishment continues to ignore Tea Party and other conservatives. We've seen it for the last 3.5 years, and it finally bowled up in that 7th Congressional District there in Virginia.
Now, you lost a seat on both the Budget and Agriculture Committee. I think in particular it was painful because the Agriculture Committee, something that the congressman from your district has held for, I want to say, over 100 years. It's been a long time. And that is summarily where your district is, I guess, right in the middle of. How much disappointment did you have in the loss of that seat? And when you saw what happened to the leadership, I just want to get a personal reaction.
The loss of the 2 seats, that was punishment for too conservative for speaking up about it, and that's exactly what I think the reaction was in the 7th Congressional District. And but at the end of the day, the voters rule, and that is great to see. That's the way the system is supposed to work. One candidate spends $2.5 million, the other one scrapes to get by. At the end of the day, the voters rule. And what conservatives are worried about is an establishment spends more time beating up on Tea Party conservatives than they do the president. And we're looking for a change in leadership, and it happened just in that one race.
One thought about this is that it's always a challenge to balance your personal convictions versus being a good team player in an organization like Congress, where there has to be some kind of team. How do you balance that? How do you know where the line is, Congressman, where, look, I want to be a good guy for the Republican Party versus, look, I came here to get something done. I came here to represent my constituents. How do you balance that?
Well, at the end of the day, you've got to represent your constituents. And what I see with some of my colleagues is they say one thing at home and do different things in Washington, D.C., and they all run as conservatives. Eric Cantor said he was conservative, but he was pushing for some amnesty. He was pushing for higher spending and not pushing back against the president. And so, yeah, there's a team aspect to that. But at the end of the day, you've got to represent your constituents. And when conservatives across the country are saying we need new leadership in Washington, D.C., we'll see what the D.C. establishment does. I think Raul Labrador would make a great majority leader, a new face, new vision, some new ideas, and put a new face on a pretty old party and pretty old system.
You know, I was going to ask you about the leadership position. Congressman Labrador has indicated that he would like to take that slot. Congressman Kevin McCarthy of California is also interested in it. Sounds like you've already sort of cast your lot here. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, it certainly is. Congressman Labrador is a great conservative. He's willing to sit down and negotiate, but he's not going to compromise away principles. And that's what I think Republicans and conservatives in particular are looking for, someone willing to fight for what they believe, willing to articulate those thoughts and not sell at the end of the day. And Labrador would do a great job. Kevin McCarthy would simply be very similar to Cantor, and they've been around a long time, and I think it's time for some new faces in the party.
Congressman, great to have you here. I appreciate your perspective and wish you the very best. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Governor, and have a great Father's Day weekend.
And you too. Well, special report anchor Brett Baer is going to interview former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in a few days, wondering just how far he's going to push her on her role